Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Downside Podcast. Right? Is that what we're going to call it? We might change the name. I don't know. Somebody suggested the downside. Anyway, I got a video for you. I want you to watch it, listen to it. It is completely retarded. Okay? It's the dumbest thing you'll ever listen to. But we have to listen to it because it shows how stupid and, well, just how stupid the left is in general and how much they actually control the media and how people just capitulate and bow down to them, right? This is one of the most dominant UFC fighters of all time, Forrest Griffin, and he's talking to a black guy who is also another incredibly talented champion from the UFC named Rampage Jackson, and this is his podcast called the Jackson Podcast. All right, you can check it out. It's actually pretty good. This is just the dumbest episode I think I've ever seen. I gave it a thumbs down. So you can go do the same thing. Wink, wink. Okay. So let me give you a little background thing here. All right. So this podcast is coming after this guy who is another UFC fighter named Bryce Mitchell said that Hitler was a good guy. All right. So he says that Hitler was a good guy on the last podcast. They took the podcast down because it was just, oh my God, so offensive. You know, whatever, right? You know how they act when you say Hitler, right? If you talk about Hitler, everybody goes crazy. The guy didn't even say anything that was too crazy. Okay? He said that Hitler was a good guy before he started killing people. So, like, I don't really understand what's so controversial about that because maybe he was a good guy before he started killing everybody. He was like an honored veteran, right? In Germany. Didn't he have like all the medals of honor and all that stuff? Like, that's how he got elected because he was like this super German patriot that everybody, you know, he was like famous before he became the leader of Germany. Anyway, so the guy says that, they cancel the podcast. And then all of a sudden you get this loser who comes in. And he tries to, you know, apologize for white people. So check it out.
Off, we'll all be on the same page.
Okay.
I think, all right, so real question. Do you ever think when you meet a pale skin like myself that
Pale skin?
I'm not really white.
Okay, pale skin.
I'm kind of pinkish.
I didn't hear what you said, pale skin.
Like if a pig got a sunburn, that's kind of what I look like. Not by choice, but you get what you get.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to notice how he's okay with making fun of white people now. Okay? He's okay. And Rampage Jackson tries to, you know, this guy right here, if you look up him before all this cancel culture stuff, this guy was one of the most offensive people you've ever seen in your life. Go check him out. Just type in Rampage Jackson funny moments and look at how just outrageous this guy was. So he's not really all this serious into this cancel stuff like this idiot is over here, okay?
I'm not really white.
Okay, pale skin.
I'm kind of pinkish.
I didn't hear what you said, pale skin.
Like if a pig got a sunburn, that's kind of what I look like. Not by choice, but you get what you get.
Yeah. Same color as the pussy.
And funny enough, if you catch that, what he's saying to him there, he's calling him the P word. This idiot doesn't get it.
In your face like that. That's
Yeah. No, that is. That's just me being old and pale skin. So, serious question. Do you ever think people that look like me did horrible shit to people that look like you for hundreds?
Okay. Like, see, already we're getting into this. Oh, do you think white people did bad stuff to black people? Yeah, of course they did. But guess what? Black people did bad stuff to white people. You think black people were just innocent throughout history? Like they didn't own slaves? Like they didn't own white slaves, by the way. Listen, just in case you didn't know this, in the 1600s, there was a trade called the Barbary trade that was started by the Muslims, picked up by the Africans, and they literally went and kidnapped people from European nations like Ireland, or countries, sorry, European countries. Ireland, Greenland. Look it up. It's history. Millions, okay? Not just like, you know, Timmy and his little cousin and them. No, they picked up millions of people, kidnapped them, literally, brought them back to Africa. South Africa, by the way, why do you think South Africa has all the white people? The same reason America has black people. They were brought there. All right, but he's not going to say that.
Hundreds of years.
Do I think about that?
Yeah.
No, It's true, but I don't think about it.
Okay. So I do realize that. Like you talk about generational trauma, shit like that. I realize that, you know.
Okay. So if you notice the black guy, Rampage, he tries to say, like, man, listen, yeah, like I realize it, but I don't think about it. Like he's trying to like downplay it already. He's like, man, come on, man. Like, why are you doing this on my podcast?
Like that. That's
Oh, yeah. No, that is. Yeah, that is. That's, again, that's just me being old and pale skinned. So, serious question. Do you ever think hundreds of years?
Do I think about that?
Yeah. Is it
No,
ever?
it's true, but I don't think about it.
Okay. So I do realize that. Like you talk about generational trauma, shit like that. I realize that, you know, fuck, I'm about as white as they come, right? People that look like me did horrible shit, in even under color of law, to people that look like you.
Okay. So here's the thing. People that look like him, 99% of them did nothing to black people. Okay. And people who look like Rampage Jackson, 99% of them had nothing done to them by people that look like this guy. Okay. That's the facts. Less than 2% of the population owned slaves when there was slavery here. 400,000 slaves came here. That's a lot. That's bad news. Okay. That's not good. But guess how many went to Mexico? 4 million. Nobody ever talks about that.
Realize that. And so for me, there's a, you know, like not a hesitancy, but you talk about people like, I want to be a, what do they call them? An ally? Well, I don't want to be an ally. I want to be kind of an advocate for pale skinned people. Like, look, horrible shit happened, but, you know, we would like to make allowances for that and move forward. And so.
No, we don't want to make allowances for that and move forward. We don't. Get over it. You had nothing done to you. Nothing. You're living great in America. Look at your studio. Look at them chairs. Look at them chains. Look at them watches. Y'all living pretty nice. All right. What do you mean we need to make it right? We've already made it right. You know how many white people died to free slaves? Almost 700,000 white soldiers died. Okay, black soldiers died too, man. Look, don't get it twisted. It wasn't just white people, but white people died too to free the slaves. Was it more than freeing the slaves? Yes, of course it was, right? But slavery was a big part of it.
When like, you know, somebody of darker skin likes me, I really get fired up because I'm like, hey, look, they were able to look past.
Why, dude? Nobody even thinks like that. Like, look, go back and listen to this again. Listen how stupid this is. He gets fired up when a black person likes him because they look past all the slavery stuff. Yeah, dude, all black people look past it. You know why? Because they don't walk around thinking about that stuff, dude. They don't think about it. You got it? They don't think about it. All right? They don't think about it, just like we don't think about it. They're past it.
Of darker skin likes me, I really get fired up because I'm like, hey, look, they were able to look past all the horrible shit that happened. And, you know, I think you have like atomic bombs and then you have slavery, and slavery wins. And
what? Hold on. Let's listen to that again, because that don't even make sense.
I think you have like atomic bombs and then you have slavery, and slavery wins. And if
I don't know. I mean, is he saying that us bombing the Japanese was not as bad as slavery? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I disagree with that. We killed a lot of Japanese people. When you look at the history books or the numbers, about 4,000 slaves were murdered during the slave periods. Hundreds of years, 4,000 died, right? 4 to 5,000. How many people died in Hiroshima? Right? Nagasaki, right? More than 4,000, I can tell you that.
If you think about this country, you know, it was built off the back of slavery. That was initially the biggest
Okay. So here's the thing. The country was not built off the back of slavery because very, very few people owned slaves. And there was industry in the North. There was all type of big business going on in the North. And that's why the South kind of went to war with the North, is because, you know, the South was saying, hey, look, give us some of that industry, man. Give us the cotton gins and the machinery so we can free these slaves, so we can live and we can survive. And the North was like, no. And so that was a big thing back and forth, right? So, no, the country was not built off slavery. It was built off legal immigrants and citizens of America that was building industry that led to the industrial boom in the 1920s. Okay, it had nothing to do with slavery. Look, these people are just completely uneducated. That's the facts.
Financial cap. No, I mean, you look like you're in shock. This is just.
Yeah, some people don't like. Let 'em talk.
Keep going.
But so I'm aware of that, and I appreciate that. So I'm definitely, so let's take that a step further, right? So there we are. I had the pleasure of interviewing Eric Dickerson, and he talked about growing up, you had to be twice as good as the white kids to get on the field.
That's not true either. You do not have to be twice as good as the white kids to get on the football team back in the 50s and 60s and the 70s and 80s. That is just something black people tell themselves to, it's victimhood mentality, man. Listen, if you were good back in those days, you got on the football team. Still to this day, and I've seen this before. I want you to watch this because he's going to ask Rampage Jackson this question about a black and a white football player or sports player expecting a certain answer, but watch how Rampage Jackson answers honestly. He answers it with honesty. And watch this.
More than twice, right? And so things aren't that bad as times pass, but my thought, and I could be wrong, again, this is what I think, not what I know. If we got a pale skinned guy and a darker skinned guy here, and they're both here, who do you think's getting the position?
And what type of?
Wait a minute now. So we got a white person and a black person, and if they're competing for the same spot in sports, who is going to get the position? The white guy? I don't know. Let's see.
Sport, in any sport.
Probably the dark-skinned guy.
You think?
Oh, the dark-skinned guy. Oh, he threw a. See, that was not what he was expecting. He was expecting him to say the white person. Did it threw it for a shock. Listen to his voice. Listen.
What? Probably the dark-skinned guy.
You think?
What?
Oh, you think? You think? I'm retarded. You think? Dude, the black person is obviously going to get the spot in the sports game if he's better than the white person, dude. Like, the black guy understands that. I don't know what this white dude's talking about, man. He's just, I don't understand. Like, I guess they had to compensate for, like, the last one where the dude come on there and said Hitler was actually an okay guy before he started killing people. So now they get this white guy to apologize for everybody.
What, if they the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I answered wrong.
No, hey.
He says, well, I guess I answered wrong, man. And then, so he's caught here, right? Because he's trying to obviously play this little racial game. He's caught, right? And so he goes, oh, no, it's just a thought experiment, man. It's just a thought experiment. Forget your common sense.
There's no wrong answers. It's a thought experiment.
Oh, okay. So I would have thought that if both people was like that, that maybe if they're gonna have to go, maybe the black guy probably got it. That's why I thought. I don't know.
Okay, so listen to this. So this is actually exposing, excuse me, racial bias. Okay, he's a black guy, so he's obviously going to think that a black person is going to win. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's tribalism. It's natural. It's part of human nature that you go with your group, right? That's why, like, if you let people just be who they are and you don't put any restrictions or restraints, black people will live with black people and white people will live with white people. Chinese people will live with Chinese people and so on. That's not racism. It's tribalism. It's being familiar with your surroundings, right? That's human nature. It's not a racist thing. They're not going to, like Chinese people are not going to beat up a white person that walks through Chinatown. But if they have the choice to live with only Chinese people, that's what they're going to pick. That's just what they prefer overall. So, yeah, so Rampage, Jackson here, he's not saying anything out of this world. He's saying, like, look, dude, I would just thought the black person would have won because naturally we all think that black people are better at sports, which is not true, by the way. Like, all of this is just, like I said, it's tribalism. That's all it is.
No.
Okay.
I don't watch sports, so that was like.
In sports, I would guess that it would probably be the other way.
Oh yeah, because of the quarterbacks. Black people just started being quarterbacks. I'm sure, You know.
So also,
Listen, so he is such a troll here. Look, this white guy doesn't. Forrest Griffin, he doesn't understand he's being trolled. Okay, like he doesn't get it. He thinks he's being serious. Like in a minute, he's going to troll him again about some food and stuff like that. You'll see it. And the guy just doesn't understand that Rampage Jackson doesn't care about none of this. He cares about zero of this. Okay, look.
so you go from racism, and then in the 90s, you know, we were there. We thought white people quit using the N-word, so we thought we beat racism. Turns out, no, it's systemic. We realize this now.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I've grown up around white people my whole life, and I have never heard really people seriously use the N-word. Like, never. Like, it is not a common phrase in the white household. It really isn't, man. Anybody that's white knows that. This is one of those myths. It's a myth that white people just run around saying the N-word. That does not happen. Black people say the N-word way more than what white people say it by a long shot. White people avoid stuff like that, man. Everybody avoids stuff like that, unless you're just like the super racist Ku Klux Klan member. Then yeah, they probably say it. But the average white household does not use the N-word on a daily basis, a yearly basis, okay? Like a century basis. Like they do not use it, man. It's a lie.
So you know, from pure racism, well, we've backed off that, but there's still prejudice, and some of that prejudice, it's kind of like it's kind of couched in an odd way, right? If you think about African American males, what stereotype? They're good at sports, they're athletic, they can fight, they have large genitals.
Okay. Okay. So they have large genitals, they can fight, and they can play sports. Let me tell you how many people think that about black people. Only black people think that about black people. Okay. Nobody else thinks that about black. Like nobody thinks that. Now watch Rand's. But now listen to Jackson's response here. It's absolutely hilarious. Listen to this.
That is maybe true, not true, but what I'm saying
You
is,
forgot they like watermelon and fried chicken. You forgot.
They like watermelon and fried chicken. Like, look at his face. Look at the white guy's face. His head is about to explode because he can't understand that black people could joke about black people too. Like he can't. That doesn't register with him. Look, check this out. Listen, let's rewind it back a little bit.
but what I'm saying
You
is,
forgot they like watermelon and fried chicken. You forgot.
you know,
I'm just saying. You forgot.
you could say it. I'm a,
I can say it.
It's better if you say it.
Okay,
Works out better for me if you say it. So
Rampage is putting him in a bad position right there. He's doing it on purpose, right? Like he's putting him in a bad spot. Okay, listen, that's it. We're not going to watch this whole video. You've seen it. You got the gist of it. It's pure mental illness on this white guy's part. I don't know who sent him there to do this, but they should be ashamed. Let's look at the comments though. Check this out. The very first one. This is a humiliation ritual. I mean, and this is from Brandon Buckingham. This is a pretty famous YouTuber. I think he's got quite a few followers. Yeah, 942,000. White guilt or apologizing for being white is so pathetic. There's literally no coming back from it. I mean, yeah, like I don't understand why they would want to apologize for white people anyway. This is the most pathetic thing I've seen a person do unprompted with no external pressure. Yeah, nobody's pressuring him to do it. Like he's just doing it. Forrest just humiliated himself in front of the whole world. This is crazy. Forrest, you are sickening. The script that little Smurf loudmouth gave you to read is disgraceful. I'm not going to read every one of them. We'll just kind of go through here and let you just kind of look at them here. Look at this one. This podcast is so cucked now. Damn, used to F with Forrest, but apologizes for being white is the biggest self-hatred and cuckery I've ever seen. Good Lord. Now I know why the UFC keeps Forrest in an office and not in front of the camera. Yeah, because he's like this white guy. He's like the president of fighter relations or something like that in UFC. But couldn't watch past 4 minutes. Yeah, because that's about how long you rants on this white stuff. Tired of all the liberal talk. Man, amen. Let's give all these people a like real quick because they're actually like pretty based. And this Brandon Buckingham dude, he actually goes in the hood and hangs out with black people. And so that's what he's doing. Doing all this stuff. All right. So that's it, man. Y'all have fun. Make sure you hit like. Follow me on Rumble. Follow me on X.